Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident tinker and Medarot, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet-fighting robot series. Now, as we start to crest away and say farewell to the 6th-year anniversary of Medarot S, it looks like things are going to be going back to business as per usual, and that usually entails 1 or 2 brand new models and a couple of reruns just to kind of keep things fresh. But it looks like that Valentine's Day is going to come just a little bit early this year as far as events, rewards, and everything else in between with what we have in store for the month of February. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for this week, starting with the gacha banners and who to expect in this week's lineup. Now, starting with the gacha banners, though, this week, we're going to be getting kind of a double feature this time around, as we're getting 1 brand new model and 1 rerun from Valentine's Day 2025 that shattered the hearts of every Medarotter upon her appearance by Mr. Tagro. But before I do get that far, I would officially like to introduce the new model for this week, hailing all the way from Meta Survivor and designed by Junichi Akutsu himself, is ATN0 Spatha Regina, with a kit of Guardian, Hardpile, All Guard, Biped legs, and the leg ability of Super Armor. Alongside Spatha Regina, we have LOV01 Naughty Heart by Mr. Tagro, with a kit of Stat Cleanse, Hyper Thunder, Field Repair, Wheeled legs, and the leg ability of Adapter. So like I said, it looks like Valentine's Day is going to be just a little bit early this year as far as what we see incoming and what we can expect. But having the legendary Junichi Akutsu weigh in officially for Meta Survivor and Spatha Regina officially make her way for Meta S was only to be expected, but also very openly welcomed all the same. Now, we actually have 2 different sets of boosted rates, though, as far as each banner, because, again, this is kind of a weird double feature thing leading up to Valentine's Day this year in the next week or so. Now, for Spatha Regina's boosted rates, though, we have a couple of familiar faces that kind of like to tie in the theme of Athena and Ladies of Warfare in this case. That being said, we see boosted rates on Spatha Regina's banner for ATM0 Figaro Force with Hyper Break, Power Sword, Static, Float Legs, and Illusion, and GDS01 Artemis with Rebirth, Laser, Guard 500, Float Legs, and Super Armor. So like I said, we have a lot of very powerful moon goddesses that are up this week that are up for grabs in the gacha banners, and if neither of them particularly taste your fancy, we also have the legendary Athena type Spatha Regina that's also up for grabs as well. There is no real high stakes for this one since they're all standard Medarots, so no meta change or anything of the like, but no matter which one you do end up with, whether that be Spatha Regina, Figaro Force, or Artemis, you're going to have some very good high offense or high defense, depending on who it is, at your disposal whenever you need them. For Naughty Heart's boosted rates, however, we are essentially going to be playing a rerun of Valentine's Day last year, almost 1-to-1 with what we have available. So alongside Naughty Heart, we also see boosted rates for JGS0 Hikara Mate with Trap Clear, Repair, Gatling, Float Legs, and Mirage, who can also meta change from Float to Biped legs with Sacrifice, Sword, Trap Clear, and Dead or Alive as her leg ability, essentially making her the first of a very small handful of designated suicide nukers as far as what competitive meta brings and just how powerful they can be. Additionally, we also have NAV0 Navi Kamu officially hit the banners once again, with a kit of Cooler Plant, Double Power Link, Float Legs, and Adapter, who can meta change ever so slightly to change her kit to Charge Plant, Double Power Link, Biped Legs, and Charm instead. So this banner might be a little more higher stakes compared to the Ladies of Warfare banner, primarily on the grounds that we have 2 meta changers that are on boosted rates, and then the standard highlighted one that is not. So essentially, if you find yourself lucky to get that minute little percentage, you may have the chance of ending up with one of these 2 lovely ladies instead. And it may also be put to very good use depending on the teams you bring to the table. For the boosted rates we have this week, it's going to be a mixed utility males week primarily, with everything that's going to be up for grabs. Starting us up on this top row, we have DRF03 CT King, with Press, Anti-Air, Press, Flight Legs, and Bullet Rain. GDR-0 Gun Desperado with Rifle, Double Anti-Air, Biped Legs, and Gunman. And HKD-0 Hakato with Charge Plant, Hammer, Guard 300, Biped Legs, and Fortress. On the bottom row, we have SKD-0 Sagoto with Beam, Double Hold, Biped Legs, and Captor. GLM-0 Sekizo with Triple Missile, Tank Legs, and Continuous P. And DGD-0 GO Death with Optic Guard, Double Sacrifice, Float Legs, and Mirage. So ultimately, it's going to be kind of tough figuring out which one is going to be particularly the best, quote-unquote, with this week, because all 6 of them have something very useful that you can put to use essentially anywhere, albeit in all 6 cases, more selective and niche uses more than general coverage. But with CT King, you have Press for your heavy coverage, or Anti-Air for your flight leg coverage, and Bullet Rain if you do need it. Gun Desperado also is good for your anti-air coverage. Hakato going to be fairly solid as kind of a mixed range supporter tank type. Sagoto mostly for just making sure enemies stay still and don't really move around all too much. Sekizo, ultimately, I do have to give MVP of the week, primarily for tank legs and continuous P is very nice, as the first 5 stacks of battle he will passively boost his heating, which will slowly and in a way actually improve the compensation for lower speed that tank legs usually have. And missile arms also are very good for the fact that they can help flush out enemy leaders with silent leaders, so just a little extra kick there as well if you do need it. And GO Death if you do need sacrifice arms for a sub-DPS, HP-oriented DPS type, as long as of course you do build around it and be mindful of that. So ultimately farm for all 6, but let Sekizo be the big one of the batch that you do focus on the most out of the 6 fierce battles we have going into February. Now, for the first of 2 events we have this week, like I said, we're basically going to be completely rerunning the Valentine's Day 2025 event, almost 1-to-1, with the exception of the 28-month event tickets you see here being replaced with 40. But ultimately, we do have up for grabs the Ice Medal, which is a sniper nature medal with a mastery in melee, shooting, and support, and biped legs, and leg masteries of biped, wield, and see. We also have SRB-0 Strava Milk up for grabs as well if you missed her last year, with Rifle, Double Gatling, Biped Legs, and Assail. We have the Maid Cafe skin, Medarot skins, R rank for Hisaki, Ibuki, Nozomi, and Hotori. And of course, voice lines for Arase and Hisaki if you did end up missing those last year as well. This event, much like it was with the first run, will be ticket-based, so bonuses will be stacking per part equipped across the team. So ultimately, this is going to be a fairly easy and pretty low-stakes week as far as limited time stuff or limited run stuff is concerned. There really isn't anything really high value up for grabs, aside from just the events you see here. No real big-name rewards or any limited time events or collabs incoming. So, going to be a fairly easy week. On the topic of collabs, though, that isn't exactly going to be the full case as far as like a low-stakes week, especially if you are a new player that missed it the first time around. But we do also have the Shaman King collab rerun that will also be going live this week as well for 1 week only, with a lightning round special event that you can farm for to collect all the rewards that you missed the first time around. These include an Ami Damaru skin for Shin Saber and a Shamash skin for Primary Baby, 2 prominent characters in the Shaman King series. We can earn the Shaman Medal, which is a guard nature with melee, support, and defense, and legs of biped, wheel, and tank. We can also earn the Itako Medal with melee, shooting, and defense, and legs of float, wheel, and sea. And of course, more profile banners and any other limited rewards you missed the first time around. This essentially will be a lightning round, which means ultimately it's going to be a very quick in and out, score attacks, score at 100,000 points, you get all the rewards, and you're done. That's kind of the really easy way to get in and out of it. So, like I said, it's going to be fairly low stakes, but if you missed Shaman King the first time around, this might be a little bit of a heavier week for you with everyone that is up for grabs for the gacha banners. On the topic of the gacha banners for the collab, all 4 models, Byakuyo, the Raite, Horoke Wolf, and Mirai Hao, not only will be up for grabs this week as well for 1 week only, But much like all three previous 1-week collabs through these last month or so, will also receive permanent stat buffs across the board. Now, ultimately, these buffs really aren't going to be anything overly impressive or powerful or game-breaking, and they're all honestly very good in their own right already, so not really anything to shout to scream to the heavens about over them being suddenly very good, but they are also still very good already, so just a little bit of extra boost to keep them competitively viable, in case any of them were particularly in your up-for-grabs list, or perhaps missed them. Byakuyo is mostly very good for having one of the only other instances of anger as a leg ability, alongside Sujigiri and Revenge Sword. The Raite is mostly good for biped legs with super armor, hyper thunder, and just a couple extra perks built around it. Horoke Wolf mostly for heavy punish, freeze punish, and wield legs with snow type, and Mirai Hao mostly for your melee-oriented DPS type for everything he brings to the table. So ultimately, it doesn't matter which one of the 4 models that you choose to go after, they are going to be very solid in their own rights, depending on how you choose to use them. And it is also worth noting that any of the paid skin bonus collab bundles that are up for grabs will also be back up in the skin shop if you did miss them the first time around as well. One final note as far as Meta S is concerned is we have officially the first look at the February PvP skins that are up for grabs this month. We have an opportunity for a white chocolate style Naughty Heart, a Choco Banana style Curly Veil, and a Choco Banana style Hit Seller that are up for grabs in the live PvP. And the Choco Strawberry Charleston Nurse from last year will also be made available in the skin shop. So if you missed her the first time around, this is a great opportunity to pick up for it, alongside all 3 other models. Now, even though Hit Seller is a rerun as well, I honestly do love the dessert-style skins that they made with these models. And I honestly love the alt skins and cosmetics as a whole, so I am absolutely for it. Definitely make sure that you try to participate in online PvP a number of times through the month, so you have an opportunity to pick these up as needed. Moving on to Meta Survivor, though, things are actually starting to pick up, because the 1-year anniversary since the game's launch is officially coming up here very, very soon, within the week or so, actually, at time of recording. And there are a lot of very big events that are up and coming, including a lot of gacha tickets that are up for grabs, for free polls, lots of events to pull for even more rewards, and of course another reminder for the new Medarot mechanics that were added last week to the game. And it is also worth noting as a friendly reminder that the global release for Medabots Survivors is officially going live here sometime pretty soon later this month. It's hard to say whether it'll be early in the mid of this month or closer to the end on the 28th, but you can count on the fact that I will be covering it and even stream a brand new playthrough myself that we'll be making as the stream-only game, for lack of a better term, when it does officially go live. Do stay tuned on my channel for more tips and updates on that the closer that we get to release. Moving on to community-related stuff, as always, we are still looking for translators to assist with any of our ongoing projects or endeavors, such as the Medarot 4 or Medarot 9 Reloaded, or the Medarot Reloaded translation projects, any mangas, any other games that are up for grabs. If you are knowledgeable in coding, cleaning Japanese, and have some time in your hands, or if you know something that might be, feel free to join our Discord, ask around, talk to me, and we can get you in touch with the right people to fill you in. Alternatively, you can also donate to the cause with a link to Variant's crowdfunding in the comments below, where we can keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This means that we can also commission any extra lines of text to be translated on our behalf, so we can get to translating and cleaning faster, so we can work on other projects. So ultimately, we love and appreciate any help, even if it is just spreading word. Anything is appreciated across the board. One final reminder before I do wrap us up, I am also on Card if you are looking for any possible commissions, or if you'd like to reach out and communicate with me. All of my rates and my prices for my commission services are on the link provided. All of my socials, if you want to find other places that I'm present. So you can find the link here and in the comments below as well if you have any questions on that. DMs are always open across the board, so do not hesitate to reach out to me, either for a commission, a comment, a commendation, or even if you want to collaborate with me. I would love to try to make something happen. But with all that being said, that does basically cover everything for this week's episode, so Like I said, it is going to be a fairly low-stakes week as things officially kind of round back out to business as usual. A rerun of last year's Valentine's Day event means there's not going to be a whole lot of stuff that's going to be really high stakes or up for grabs on the board. The Shaman King collab is really nice, but if you snag through it the first time around, this is really going to be kind of old news and a way to kind of stockpile more rubies along in tandem. But if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page or the Metabots Forever community, currently soaring almost 52,000 members and climbing. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, my weekly episodes, or anything else of the like. That is the first place you will hear it before it goes anywhere else on the net. And you can also reach out to me personally on Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord, whatever your social media of choice is, at Isagami Kura. So if you'd like to communicate with me, contact me, or whatever, I leave my DMs open on purpose for that very reason. Just let me know what you're contacting me about so I don't think it's just a random bot. You can never be too careful with online safety these days in the age of online chatbots and AI and everything of the like. But with all that being said, that does basically cover everything like I said, so as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do, and until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.